So I've been playing a new game recently, and I've not been quite as pumped for a new game in quite a while, I must say. I've been playing this for hours on end into the early hours of the night, which is rare for me these days actually. But yeah, this is Foxhole, which is a massively multiplayer isometric based war game, and it's a bit like PlanetSide. It's a persistent war, which is what's so cool about it. Everything you do is an ongoing battle. It's part of an ongoing front, and there's two factions. You've got the colonialists, and there's the top map. Gives you an idea of the battle there, the scale of the map. This is just one of many battles raging. But yeah, you've got the colonialists, which are the faction I've chosen, versus the enemy side, who are known as the Wardens. So there's two sides, which I think is right, because one of the things about PlanetSide, I suppose it's debatable, but I always found with PlanetSide I would have preferred it if there were only two factions. But yeah, I suppose it adds variety to units. So yeah, it takes a while to get used to what this game is all about though. There's a massive learning curve, and I'm still a complete noob. But this is from the other night,
So are there no real people?
and we were getting ready for a big assault on a defensive line, trying to capture a section of the map against the Wardens. Lots of tanks building up, lots of trucks, lots of infantry forming, and also artillery. So there's a whole logistic element to this game. Players run around as engineers and build sandbag bunkers and entrench positions and reinforce supply lines. So we're just trying to probe them here, and I just love being part of this large-scale battle. It's just so epic to be. It feels like being in an RTS game where everyone's a player as opposed to an AI unit. So I guess the colonials are kind of like. It is essentially a World War II game in the sense that all the units and that are basically based on World War II vehicles like jeeps, and even small arms are essentially representations of World War II era weaponry, such as MP44s, etc., Brownings, things like that. And the Wardens are very much the Germans. World War One stroke World War II era German units, kind of Pickelhelmer helmets you see sometimes, and kind of bicycles, troops riding around on bikes like the Wehrmacht would have done. But then the colonialists are more the Allies, a kind of combination of Russia, Britain and American units from World War II. But it's a kind of like a hyper sort of realised. There is a term for it, I can't remember what it is. It's sort of like it's not quite historically accurate, but it's an interpretation, if you like. But anyway, this is just one of the battles I was a part of, and we were just. This was later on, so that there was a day-night cycle, and this is now the daytime, and we're just trying to push the enemy, push them back. And I love the constant mic comms in this game. Make it so much fun. It's so engaging. You really need to be communicating a lot in this game on the mic, but also there's many chat channels as well.
In the foxhole behind you.
Combat is also quite realistic. The distance of the range of weaponry and the projectiles and the way that you have line of sight. It seems pretty authentic to me. You have to use cover. So I'm using a pair of binoculars here so I can actually see ahead slightly to see where the enemy positions are. So as you can see, there's a load of infantry defending a really smashed up bunker position there. I think there's a tank on the left flank.
Oh my god, I was down the road.
Oh, you're good.
There you go, there's a tank there even on some supply truck.
Just wait right here, guys.
So we're slowly just ebbing forward, and artillery's pounding the position as well. And like I'm saying, I still am a complete noob in it with this game. I'd make very silly mistakes and get laughed at sometimes. And I think we see a bit of that later, which is quite funny. But I just don't mind being a grunt running around, really. I kind of want to get familiar with some of the more advanced game tactics. Ah, I got one over there. Oh well. You get killed a lot in this game, that's one thing I will emphasise. And sometimes it's friendly fire. Yeah, this is the inventory. So this is a recording I did the other night, so I decided to pick that up from that medical tent. I'm not quite sure what it is. I just decided to put it in my inventory. There's some artillery going off there, which I was quite enjoying earlier. I was firing. You have a range you have to apply in an azimuth and all that business. One thing I would say when you're new to this game, I actually don't bother trying to get guns from the home bases. I just run in without a weapon, because quite honestly the amount of bodies you come across when you're on the front line, you can just grab any old gun from the front and pick up anything you want off dead bodies, quite honestly. Probably not the best tactic.
The ambulance is locked. Give me a second.
So I hear this dude say he's out of bandages, and I think I'm doing him a favour here by dropping this supply box.
Bandages. Those are shirts. Those don't need to be up here.
Whoops.
Thermal. I need some bandages real quick. Also, this guy just brought 4 shirts. So I'm gonna put those.
Yeah, I have no idea what they are.
Where did you get the shirts from?
I think shirts.
I don't know. I don't ask questions. I just put them back in the ambulance.
Indeed. So I think shirts are actually for respawn points. So yeah, no idea what I was doing. Anyway, later on in the battle, this is where it was really getting crazy. We were really pushing, lots of tanks up front. And someone was telling me to make use of something, but I didn't really know what he was talking about. So I ignored him and ran around like a complete noob. We were getting flanked by a tank. And a guy's trying to tell us, he's yelling over the top of his voice because the sound of the gunfire is muting him out. And I was just in awe. I wasn't really doing anything at this point, apart from typing crazy things like that. I think it may have helped. I have got some kills in this. There's no kill count though. I'm in 2 minds about whether or not there should be a kill count, but many people on the Reddit say it's good that you don't get informed when you get kills. But anyway, that's just some of the action I was having the other night. That became a bit of a stalemate, that battle in the end, but I think most of them tend to in this game, because battles last weeks, not necessarily hours. So it's a bit of an ebb and flow, and very much like World War One, really. But yeah, Foxhole, this is a really fun game, so I'd highly recommend it if you want something new.